Alright, now welcome to the second example of choosing a good viewing window. We're going to take a look at the following polynomial when we go to change or set up our viewing window. So what I want you to do is go ahead and hit y equals, and we're going to type in this polynomial. And I know you won't be able to see all of it, but it'll be there on your screen for you. 0.2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 38x minus 97. So go ahead and enter all of that into your y equals menu and make sure that you don't have anything else turned on or in there as well. Make sure all your plots are turned off and that you've got that piece in there for you. Once you do that, what I want you to do next to graph it, we're just going to do our standard viewing window, zoom, and number 6, zoom standard. That's going to be our negative 10 to 10 viewing window. Now when I take a look at this, I can actually see a little bit of the function just kind of cresting right up in here. So that's part of it, but I don't know where the rest of it lies. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go into my window settings. So I'm going to change my window settings, and I want to, if I go back and take a look at the graph, you can see here how it's definitely going to go down below negative 10 on the y-axis. I don't know how far up it goes on the y-axis, but I can tell that it definitely drops below negative 10 on the y-axis. So I'm going to go into my window and change my y min and my y max. Now I'm going to drop that down to maybe negative 20. And then the maximum, I'm going to leave that at, I don't know, I'm going to change that to maybe like 5. Let's just kind of see what happens there. So now when I graph it, I see a little bit of more stuff going on. Now over here towards the right, I can kind of see this is starting to go down, but then I'm guessing it's probably going to turn and come back up at some point, where I don't know. So I've got to take my x's now on my x-axis, and I'm going to have to make those wider. Now it doesn't look like anything's really going on over on the other side of the y-axis. So when I change my x settings, I'm going to go from like maybe negative 1 to maybe 12 or so. So let's go into our window, and I'm going to actually change that to negative 2, and I'm going to go all the way to say 20 on that. But on my x scale, where it says x scale, that's how much each tick mark is. I'm going to change that to 2 on there. So each one of my tick marks along my x-axis, they're each going to be by 2. So, ooh, now I can see some stuff in there. So that's pretty cool. Check this out. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So somewhere around like 14-ish, give or take a little bit, I can see that the graph is crossing the x-axis. So this gives me a much better viewing window. And so I can take this viewing window and I can do all sorts of things with it. Over here I can find where that maximum is. Down here I could find where this minimum is. And maybe even up here I could determine what that 0 is. So that was a viewing window that I chose for it. Now I could change it a little bit more because this is going down here. If I took my my window again, now my y min went from negative 20 to 5, and I went by 1s on there because notice my y scale is by 2. So I'm just going to change that to maybe 6, but this time I'm going to change my y scale to 2. Now when I graph it, look at this. Alright, that's a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner. So both my scales on my y-axis and my x-axis, if I look in here where it says x scale and y scale, both of those are by 2, and that gives me a much nicer graph. So that's how you go ahead and choose a really good viewing window. If all you needed to do was find a good viewing window, you're done. Thanks, have a nice day. But if you want to figure out where those maximums, minimums, and zeros are, then let's keep going. Now right in here, if I look at my x-axis, 2, 4, 6, so somewhere around 6 on my x-axis, somewhere around 6 there's going to be this spot right here, which is going to be a max. So if I go ahead and go into my calculate menu, I want to choose number 4, maximum. Now it's going to ask me 3 questions, left bound, right bound, and then guess. Now the first question is left bound. Notice up here y1 equals, and it gives us what our function is in there. Now if I know it's between, it looks like it's around 6, I'm going to go to maybe 4. So I'm going to type in 4 and hit enter. And then I know it's definitely after 6, so I'm going to say maybe 6.5 just to go a little bit past it. Alright, so somewhere in that region I'm definitely going to have a maximum And let's see, guess. I don't have time to guess. I got things to do. So this is what the maximum value is on here. I've got about 5.9 and about negative 5.8 for my y coordinate. So that's how you find the maximum. Now finding the minimum is going to be very similar because we'll just do that over on this other piece down here at the bottom. Now if I go straight up to right there and I count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, it's going to be somewhere between probably 10. Maybe I'll go back to 9, and then definitely it'll be probably to 11. So I'm going to choose 9 to 11 for my range that I'm going to look for. So I'm going to go to my calculate menu again, second calc, and this time I want a minimum. I'm going to go from 9 to 11. And guess, I don't have time to guess. And notice here I get about 10.8 and then about negative 17.9. So the last thing that I'm going to want to do is find where the 0 is. And I can only see one of them right here. And it looks like, if I count correctly, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It looks like it's right around x equals 14. So when I do that, I'm going to go to my second trace menu, or second calc, to get to that. And I want to look at number 2, 0. So what the calculator is going to do is ask those same 3 questions, left bound, right bound, and then guess. So if I know that that spot right there is about 14, I'm going to go maybe 13.5 just to get kind of close to it. Now notice it puts a dot right there, it's below it. When I go to the next value, it should be a dot that's higher than it, or maybe it's off the screen and I won't be able to see it, but it'll be something over here towards the right of that. So 13.5 was my left bound, and for my right bound, I'm going to say 14.5. Okay, definitely within this region right here that you can see is going to be the 0. Guess? We don't have time to guess. We got more important things to do. Cool, check it out. My 0 is at about 13.7. Now notice the y coordinate here. It's negative 1e to the negative 11. That's just our calculator's way of freaking out because it doesn't know how to actually calculate that accurately. So it gets as close as it can, and that essentially just means 0. So that's how you calculate the maximum, minimum, and 0 for this kind of function. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day. Peace.